This video is about learning the art of tarot reading. I teach 3 different types. I teach people how to be a tarot reader. I teach people how to be an intuitive tarot reader. And I teach people how to divine with cards. They are not the same thing. Let's start with my reader program. I have students, the reason that they would want to be a reader is to make money right away. So there are pros and cons to being a reader. The focus of being a tarot reader is to generate income from reading. Of course, it helps people have clarity, someone to talk to, and all of that good stuff. But it's meant to be a tool, a guide for the person. Intuitive reading is more for spiritual development. It's more for the person to evolve spiritually. And it's a great way to interact with people. So it's very good. And divination is a whole other ballgame. And that's where, the accuracy is 100%. And you are not using the human experience. You are getting, the message. So the interesting part about reading is that, the person will find that there is some accuracy. Of course, everyone has intuition. And the whole thing about being a reader is to learn the deck very well, to learn the true meanings, learn maybe some spin-offs of the meanings, a lot of the symbology, and how to understand the tarot sequence, how it works in a puzzle, how it works together, and reading energy. And you have to understand the human experience, which is something that there is no right or wrong when you're a reader, because the human experience is something that you're reading tarot in a more psychological way. It's a way to help a person through thinking, through inspiration. It becomes, therapeutic. It's not to be confused as therapy. Therapy is with a licensed mental health care professional. Readers are not therapists. And if they're trying to be, then something's wrong with that picture. Now you could be a therapist and read and combine your therapy with reading, but, spiritual stuff is different than, medical stuff. So, but anyway, there's a great way, one side can use the tool for what they want and, so forth, just like, art supplies sometimes are used in therapy, and you can be, an art therapist, but that doesn't mean you're a fine artist, the whole thing. So there's always groups that can merge tools and things, but the human experience is something. Everyone's been sad, everyone's been mad, everyone's been full of joy, etc. So because of the human experience, you can open a doorway for venting, for understanding, for clarity, and it tells a story, and it comforts the person, and it's very nice. And that's what reading is about. That's when you take the deck and you memorize all of the meanings, all of the symbology, and you reflect on it, and you journal on it, and then you understand sequence patterns like a puzzle. Now let's talk about intuitive reading. Intuitive reading is a whole other ballgame. It has nothing to do with memorizing anything. It's going into an internal subconsciousness, and it is drawing from the human experience internally. So you're not connecting to the person externally. You are connecting to the deck yourself. And you evolve by connecting to it from within and then connecting to the person. So it's not about memorization. It's about understanding the acuteness of what you're feeling. Okay, so what I was saying before, without the mark on my forehead, what I was saying before is that intuitive reading is not, it is not about being accurate, because you're not predicting the future. And when you're a reader, you're not predicting the future. You are talking about feelings, energy, clarity, the human experience. You're connecting with the person getting a reading, and you're talking about their experience, their situation, and you're connecting on it at a human level. I understand you. I feel what you've been through. When you're asking questions about yourself, it's an inward journey, right? So it's all about feeling the atmosphere, the situation, the choices, right? The story, how it's evolved, how it's become stagnant. It's reevaluating steps. And this is really what intuitive reading and reading is all about. And it's a beautiful art. The problem is that if you start to, pressure it to be divination, and diviners are born, readers are learned, intuitive reading is learned. Some people have a knack for it, some people don't. You can still learn it. What you can't learn is divination if you don't have clairvoyancy, psychic abilities. And that's a whole other ballgame. And that I teach as well. So the difference is, when you're doing divination, you're going to predict the future. You're going to explain exactly what happened in the past. And you're going to identify immediately what's wrong in the present. And you're also going to lead the client to a correction, to an ease to the problem, and lift the veil on the things that are hidden. You're going to know things that there's no way that you can know. And that is divination. So I teach all three. Reading is great for money. Intuition is great for evolving spiritually. And divination is to serve the masses at a higher level. If you're interested, let me know. I teach, I coach, and the process of all of that I'm going to be explaining as well in other videos. What I want to hear from you is areas that you are stuck in, areas that you've always been puzzled by, and areas that you feel that you would want to shed light on in your learning journey. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Bye.